Hi, welcome to The Crossing, where cycle commuting and gravel riding meet. I'm Jackal Crossing, and in this YouTube series, I'm going to share with you my cycle commute and my gravel rides and how the two work together to make me a stronger, safer, faster rider. So grab your bike and let's go for a ride. All right, thanks for tuning in this week, y'all. It's me, Jackal Crossing, fresh off the Border Wars 45-mile race this past weekend. Still feeling the effects. It was wet. It was muddy. It was cold. It was muddy. It was long. It was muddy. Did I mention it was muddy? Yeah, it was pretty muddy. It rained pretty much the whole day, even though the weather forecast said 71 and partly cloudy with a 30% chance of rain. We ended up at about 55 average temperature and 100% rain. We had a great time. So, all the buds from the Atlanta Muslim cycling community came out. We have a little gravel gang. There's about, I don't know, half a dozen of us or so that we really love to ride gravel. So we all went out together, rode this race, had a lot of fun. One of the things that happened though goes back to a video that I ran just a couple weeks ago about bike handling skill. So that's what we're going to look at today. This was right after the first aid station, about 23 miles in. The downhill that we went on was pretty good. You'll see we were clipping along about 17, 18 miles an hour in a muddy downhill. By this point in the race, my front brakes were just about shot. If you've ever ridden gravel, you know how the mud turns into this very, very fine silt that will build up on your brake rotors and your brake pads. And as you brake, it just eats them away 2 or 3 times faster than normally. As a result, about halfway through the race, my front brakes were about 90% gone. By the end of the race, I had no front brakes, no rear brakes. It was Flintstone style, like put your feet down and slide. It was not fun. But what I want to look at today is this downhill at about 18 miles an hour. You'll see it. We'll run it in full speed. We'll break it down in slow motion and talk a little bit about what happened. Basically, bombing down this downhill. Akmal's behind me. We are in kind of a flow going down this downhill because it's back and forth twisting. It starts off gradual and then there's a drop. Well, just after that drop starts, there's a little shelf. And that shelf yeeted me right straight up. And when I came down, there was a huge rock right in my path. Somehow, miraculously, I missed it. Then there was another one to the right and another one center. And I had to maneuver my bike very quickly around these rocks and back onto the path because there was a 1-lane bridge made out of wood. It was very like scary. So in a way, because you don't want to, bail off the bridge, you don't want to wipe out. You got a rider behind you. There's a lot going on. So let's take a look at the video. I'll break it down. This is just past mile 22, the first and only aid station on the 45-mile route. So Akmal there to my right, riding his trek, doing a great job of it. He is gonna let me take the lead here, though. He's like, "You go on ahead," and so I go ahead. It's very bumpy, very muddy. The rain had just stopped. We were actually talking about it during this time. Like, wow, it's awesome that the rain stopped. I can see now. My glasses are clear. You see, there's several little areas where we'll dip down and then level out for a second, dip down, level out. So we're going way down in elevation here, and it's pretty slick. You can see I'm on the brakes really hard here, just trying to keep it slow and steady. Really rough patch, and then right here, yeet, swerve, swerve, swerve. That happened really fast, so let's go look at it in slow motion. Bounce, rock, rock, and I made it around. And then there's this sketchy bridge. So let's take a look at this. Is at 25% speed. This area right here is the shelf in which launches me. You can see the big rock there. I didn't even see it in real time until I was landing almost on top of it. So um, you can see this bump launches my bars up. And right here is that rock. It's actually just right here. See if I can get it in frame. Not quite. And then the other one on the right. So I managed to swerve around these, keep upright. So yeah, I was able to keep upright, missed both the rocks. Unfortunately, Akmal did not miss them. He caught one of those rocks, pinch flatted his tubeless setup, put a good sized little gash in the side of his tire just above the rim line. So he got really lucky there, didn't damage his rim. We spent the next 10 minutes getting him tubed up, getting the tire off, had to clean out all the old sealant. You know how it goes if you've ridden tubeless and on gravel and you've ever caught a flat where you had to tube it. You know the drill. So it took about 10 minutes in the rain. The rain picked back up just as we got through that little section, and it was not fun. You saw the bridge. I don't know how that thing constitutes as a bridge, but it does. Let's go back and talk about the skill, though. I don't know exactly how. I'm not like a super trained downhill cyclist, but I have to credit my pothole dodging, I guess, for lack of a better term, my ability to dodge potholes on my commutes for giving me that reaction time to be able to maneuver quickly, know where my body is on my bike, know how my bike's going to handle, and get around those rocks. You see, I did use my bars quite a bit, but I was also down in my hips and my feet, moving the rear end of the bike. I do ride clipless, so I was clipped into the bike and was able. That really helped me, I think, generate the power I needed to kind of push the bike around with my legs and feet. Now, I don't know if anybody else hit those rocks. We didn't hear of too many other people, a couple of other flats, but that was a rough one. It could have really been damaging to both my bike. It could have crashed me. It could have wiped me out. And then right in front of Akmal, if I had gone down, he probably would have gone down as well. So you may ask yourself, well, why didn't you just go to the far right, right? And instead of having to S swerve around those rocks, Akmal was on my right behind me. Remember, I didn't know exactly how far back he was, so I wanted to stay as close to center as I could, and that way avoid maybe clipping his front wheel. I didn't even have a chance to, do a head check to look back to see where he was. Once that rock kind of launched my front end up, when I came down, I had to maneuver immediately, as you saw. I really, really think that without my experience commuting every day and having to dodge obstacles in the road, if I had just gone out there as a casual cyclist, that could have and probably would have ended in a catastrophic failure for me in some way, shape, or form. Either with massive tire damage, rim damage, or worst case scenario, a crash. I could have ended up on the bridge or going off the bridge. So just something to think about. Practice your skills out there, tight cornering, obstacle avoidance. Get some cones or even sticks or something. Put them in your driveway and just maneuver around them. Practice those skills because you might not be a racer and you might not need them on a race course. But if you ride on the streets and you need to avoid an obstacle, whether that be glass or a pothole, you need to have these skills available so that you don't put yourself in a situation where you might have a catastrophic failure of some kind. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks again to all of the subscribers of the channel. We hope to see your name on that subscriber list next video. So make sure you click subscribe down below. Like this video and leave me a comment. Tell me what you think. And maybe next year we'll see you at Border Wars. Take it easy, everybody. Till next time, ride safe. I'll see you on the streets.